some more fun with Adolf Hitler, right? Some information I had wrote down but didn't say. I just want to go through it real fast. The anti-Semitism wasn't just in Germany. There was a lot of anti-Jewish sentiment going on in Russia. There was a lot of immigration in the 1880s. A lot of the Jews from Russia. There was the pogroms. They called them the pogroms. And that's where they was genocide, massacring Jewish people, exiling them out of town. And the Russian pogroms. And so you had a lot of mass exodus of Jewish people who was going into Germany, who was going and coming to America. So there was the pogroms. Russia had that going on. So it wasn't just Germany who was anti-Jewish. Russia has an anti-Jew slant, which is also Russia is Christian. So that's another. They're Catholics. They're Orthodox, right? They're Orthodox. And also Hitler, when he was Adolf Hitler fought in World War I, he was a courier carrying messages. He was a Bavarian. He fought with the Bavarian army in World War I, but he was a courier carrying messages to the troops. So he wasn't an infantryman, he wasn't fighting, he was just carrying messages from one group to the other group. October 13th, 1918, a gas shell attack temporarily blinds Hitler, and so that kind of made him think about things for a while. He really hates the French. One part of German nationalism is like, fuck the French, fuck the French. Okay, so that's this answers one of the questions that I had posed last time, and that was what did Hitler consider the Great Betrayal? And the thing that Hitler considered the Great Betrayal was when Kaiser Wilhelm abdicated the monarchy in in the end of World War I. And so the Kaiser Wilhelm II, I think Kaiser Wilhelm II, he's the Kaiser, right? It's a monarchy. He wanted to keep the Prussian monarchy alive while also maintaining the German nationalism. But while there was this War I was going on, you also had a German Revolution kind of came right up underneath Kaiser Wilhelm's ass, and he didn't see it. And so he abdicated the monarchy, and then right after that you have Frederick Ebert, who steps in, and then that's when Germany goes from being an authoritarian monarchy to a democratic republic. So they consider Frederick Ebert to be the first president of Germany. So Frederick, it looks like Friedrich, F-R-I-E-D-R-I-C-H. So Frederick Ebert would be the first president of the Republic of Germany, since it's not, a monarchy anymore after the abdication. But the abdication, that's when, that was the Great Betrayal to Adolf Hitler. He felt like he was a soldier fighting in the army, wanting the Germans to win, and then when Kaiser had abdicated it, that's when the entire thing was lost. That's when the end of World War I happens, and so now they all have to march back into town, and into the town that they had destroyed. There's also questions about whether or not Hitler was actually Jewish, so that's odd. Hate all the Jewish people and actually be part Jewish himself. There is the Prussian military system is here in America, so we do see fascism, totalitarian fascist police state is being taught right here in our public schools. So there is a lot of things that have carried over from Hitler's times. His parents were cousins. Hitler was a Catholic. He was an altar boy. That's when he saw a weird-looking cross that looked like a swastika. So the swastika actually came from a cross that was drawn differently. The swastika actually comes from an Indian organization, but the swastika itself means the perpetual movement of humanity. Hitler changed the swastika to be the forever Aryan nation killing the Jew. The 1918, he had saw that the first World War I was the Jewish people who took an arrow and stabbed it in the heart of the great German eagle. So that's he was born in Austria, so he's an Austrian. Then eventually he moves into Munich, and then that's when there's a declaration of war, and he gets caught up in the war fever. After the war, he starts being a ratting on Marxist revolutionaries and nationalists. He joins the counter-revolution. He doesn't like the Social Democrat president. He didn't like Frederick Ebert. He didn't want Germany to become a republic. He liked the strong arm of Frederick Wilhelm. And so actually a lot of nationalists joined the counter-revolution with Hitler. He was an informant. He was anti-communist, and he hated all the Reds. And I'll get all the Reds out of there. So this is Hitler. A lot of the paramilitary groups actually of Hitler is important to know too. They would call the SS or the SA, and then there's the Gestapo. So the SS, which it looks like two little lightning bolts, the SS, and they're known as the Schutzstaffel. So you don't have to actually. There's a listen here on the Wikipedia. No, okay, cancel. Let's say I had to download something, but the Schutzstaffel, that's the SS, and it was translated to Protection Squadron or Defense Corps. It's abbreviated SS, with stylized Armenian Silgrinds, was a major paramilitary organization under Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. It began at the end of the 1920s as a small permanent guard unit known as Saul Schultz. So it's not like Charles Schultz with an L, it says Schutzstaffel. So Schutzstaffel, SS. The SA was the Storm Detachment or Assault Division. It represents the Storm Abteilung. The Storm Abteilung. That's SA, right? So they're also known as the Brown Shirts. They functioned as the original paramilitary wing of the Nazi Party, played a key role in Adolf Hitler's rise to power in the 1920s. 1930s, their main assignments were provide protection for the Nazi rallies and assemblies, disrupting the meetings of the opposing parties, fighting against the paramilitary units of the opposing parties, and intimidating Jewish citizens. So the SA became disempowered after Adolf Hitler ordered the Blood Purge, 1934. So this is the Storm Abteilung. I think it's like the Storm Troopers, right? Storm, SA, Storm Troopers. And it also has like this weird ass insignia of the SA. So the Blood Purge in 1934 become known as the Night of the Long Knives. And the Night of the Long Knives is when Hitler goes against the people that he tried to pressure into. Basically he says, you're going to be my general, and you're going to be my general, and I'm taking you guys over. And he says, I'm going to put a bullet in you, and you, and you, and then we'll put a bullet myself if you don't do as I say. That was the beer hall push. So Hitler tries to take over the government of Germany with the beer hall push, and then he's put into prison, gets out, and he's starting this entire movement. Right now, the Operation of the Long Knives, the beer hall push is in 1923. The Night of the Long Knives is 11 years later. Sometimes called Operation Hummingbird mistakenly. Sometimes in Germany, the Rom push is a purge that took place in Nazi Germany between June 30th and July 2nd, 1934. When the Nazi regime carried out a series of political murders, leading figures of the left-wing Strasserist faction of the Nazi Party, along with its figurehead Gregor Strasser, were murdered, as were prominent conservative anti-Nazis such as former Chancellor Kurt von Schleicher and Gustav Ritter von Kahr, who suppressed Hitler's beer hall push in 1923. Many of those killed were leaders of the Storm Abteilung, the paramilitary Brown Shirts. So a lot of them, I guess, the SA was the established paramilitary group, the stormtroopers, but then the SS and the Gestapo were sort of Hitler's people, so the Gestapo was killing some of these folks. You don't need to memorize, I feel like, all of them. Just sort of the idea, the Gestapo, I think the Gestapo is the best, like, sort of military wing of the Nazi Party because it's easy to memorize. The Gestapo, their abbreviation is Geheim Staatspol. They're the secret state police. So they're the secret state police. So it's like undercover Kentucky State Police would be the Gestapo. So far they have, clear cars and clear lights and shit. But that's, here comes the train, right? So when you think of Hitler and Nazi Germany, I think the Gestapo kind of is a good catch-all phrase for sort of that militaristic, just being, the secret police and shit, kind of sneaking up on you and killing all and doing all these atrocious shit. But it's also, I think it's a good catch-all phrase. So, secret police of Nazi Germany, Germany occupied Europe. Hermann Göring formed the unit in 1933. So Hermann Göring was actually directly a part of it. Beginning on April 20th, 1934, is under the administration of the SS national leader Heinrich Himmler, who in 1936 was appointed chief of German police by Hitler. So the Gestapo, this is Hitler's thing. You got Heinrich Himmler, you got Hermann Göring. I mean, you got a lot of these top officials who's part of the Gestapo. In 1936, Himmler made it a sub-office of the Schneider, the security police. And then, according to historian Rupert Butler, from its creation in 1933 until its death in May 1945, anyone living in Nazi-controlled territory lived in fear of a visit from the Gestapo. So nobody wanted to see the Gestapo come in. I think that's sort of the beginning of Inglourious Bastards. You have the Gestapo coming into the house looking for the Jews that might be hiding in the people's houses. So that's the Gestapo. I want to answer all these questions that I didn't answer last time too. So why did Christian Germany kill 6 million people? That's through propaganda, brainwashing tactics, through the spoken word, through mass of propaganda, massive speakers, party politics. There is a lot of symbolism, uniforms, and a lot of phrases and shit that Nazi wanted to form, or the Nazi Germany wanted to form. So that's why. And also nationalism. You know, to be a strong German, there was some people who felt that Germany was being paid too much reparations. So after the war, they were living in poverty when they still had a real strong military machine that was in place. There could have been resurrected pretty quickly, which is what eventually Adolf Hitler does. Hugo Boss. Hugo Boss is the one that had formed the uniforms for Nazi Germany. It's still a company today. There's Hugo Boss cologne and perfume. So they're the ones who had designed the Nazi uniforms. And there's Fanta is also another, Coca-Cola and Fanta is also an interesting company that comes out of Nazi Germany. But Hugo Boss is a fashion designer. He is the founder of the clothing company Hugo Boss, right? He dies in 1948, so shortly after the war. He was born in Metzingen in the Kingdom of Württemberg, so he's a German, to Louise and Heinrich Boss, the youngest of 5 children. He did an apprenticeship as a merchant, completed military service 1903 to 1905, and he worked in a weaving mill. He founded his own clothing company in Metzingen in 1923, and then a factory in 1924. He had 2 other partners. The company produced shirts and jackets and then work clothing, sportswear, and raincoats. In the 1930s, it produced uniforms for the SA, the SS, the Hitler Youth, the Postal Service, rail employees, and then later the Wehrmacht. Supported Nazism. Hugo Boss joined the Nazi Party in 1931, 2 years before Hitler came to power. By the third quarter of 1932, the all-black SS uniform to replace the SA brown shirts was designed by SS Oberfuhrer Professor Karl Diedbisch and Walter Heck, who is a graphic designer. Hugo Boss Company produced these black uniforms along with the brown SA shirts and the brown and black uniforms of the Hitler Youth. Some workers are acknowledged to have been French and Polish prisoners of war forced into labor. So he actually forced some of the French and Polish prisoners to help make the uniforms. And then he was fined in support for his Nazism, and he wasn't allowed to vote after World War II, and then he died of a tooth abscess in 1948. Tooth abscess. I'm not sure what a tooth abscess is. It's a dental abscess. It's a localized collection of pus associated with the tooth. The most common type of dental abscess is a peripheral abscess, and the second most common is a periodontal, a failed root canal treatment. I don't know. So basically he has a tooth fucking infection. Hugo Boss is a huge multinational corporation now. It's got 6,102 points of sale in 124 countries. Hugo Boss AG directly owns over 364 retail stores, has 537 mono-brand retail stores and over 1,000 stores and shops owned by franchises. Products are made in a variety of different places in different countries. They got production sites still in Metzingen, Germany, Moraval, Italy, Mid-Valley City in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, Radom, Poland, Izmir, Turkey, Cleveland, United States. There's 2 core brands, Boss and Hugo, around the world. Boss Black, Boss Orange, Boss Selection, Boss Green. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. The company has sales of some currency that I don't understand. 1.7, I guess, euro, 1.7 billion euros, net profit of 190 million euros, royalties of 78 million, or 42% total profit. March 2010, Hugo Boss was boycotted by actor Danny Glover for the company's plans to close an Ohio suit manufacturing plant after 375 employees of the Workers' Union United Union reportedly rejected Hugo Boss' proposal to cut the workers' hourly wage 36% from $13 an hour to $8.30. So, you know, they are cutting it pretty substantially. So now they're moving the facilities to Turkey, Bulgaria, and Romania. So Hugo Boss, 15 minutes, shit. And Fanta are companies that had come out of Nazi Germany. And more to come. I got some answers to tell you. So.